want to talk about something today that nobody really prepares you for. Not the big dramatic moments of faith, not the breakthroughs and the miracles and the open doors. I want to talk about the quiet, painful, deeply confusing season where the people you love start to feel distant, where rooms you used to feel comfortable and suddenly feel wrong, where the life you built, the friendships, the routines, the version of yourself everyone knew, starts to feel like a coat that no longer fits. And you don't know why. You haven't done anything wrong. You haven't had a falling out. Nothing blew up. Things just started shifting, quietly, uncomfortably, like the ground moved underneath you while you were standing still. If that's where you are right now, or if you've been through that and never understood what it was, stay with me, because what I'm about to share might be the most clarifying thing you've heard in a long time. What you're experiencing has a name, and it's not a curse. It's not a punishment. It's not bad luck. It's separation. And God is the one doing it. Segment 1. What separation actually means. Before we get into the 3 signs, I need you to understand what separation actually is. Because the word sounds harsh. It sounds like rejection. It sounds like loss. And honestly, in the moment, it feels exactly like it. But separation in the spiritual sense is not rejection. It is preparation. It is God deliberately creating distance between you and certain people, places, environments, and even versions of yourself. Because where He is taking you requires a version of you that hasn't been built yet. Think about it this way. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. That's not a metaphor about other people being bad. It's a truth about capacity. Old structures cannot hold new things. And sometimes the most loving thing God can do is remove you from an environment that would have kept you at a level you were never meant to stay at. But here's why it hurts so much. Because the things God separates you from are rarely bad things. If it were easy to leave, if the people were toxic, if the environment was obviously destroying you, you would have left already. Separation hurts precisely because what you're being pulled away from is comfortable, familiar, safe, and safe is the enemy of growth. So let's talk about the 3 signs, because if you're in this season, you need to know what to look for. Sign 1. Isolation that you didn't choose. The first sign is isolation, and not the kind you chose. This isn't you deciding to take a break from people. This is something happening almost against your will. Friendships that used to feel effortless start requiring effort you don't have. Group chats go quiet. Invitations stop coming. People you once felt close to now feel like strangers, and you're not even sure when the distance crept in. And because we're human, our first response is to blame ourselves. Did I say something wrong? Did I push them away? Is something wrong with me? Maybe. But also, maybe not. There is a season in almost every person's story who is called to something significant, where God strategically limits their social access. Not to punish them, not because the people are evil, but because iron sharpens iron. And sometimes the people around you have taken you as far as they can take you. And the next level requires a different circle. Think about Abraham. God asked him to leave his country, his people, his father's household. He didn't just ask Abraham to change his heart. He asked him to physically relocate, to separate, to go to a place he couldn't even see yet. The isolation wasn't the destination. It was the corridor to the destination. If you are in a season of unexpected, unexplained social isolation right now, before you spiral into self-blame, ask yourself honestly, is it possible that God is creating space in my life for something I haven't seen yet? The empty space feels like loss. But empty space is also where new things are planted. Sign 2. Relationships that quietly fall. The second sign is when certain relationships begin to fade without any clear reason. There's no fight, no betrayal, and no dramatic goodbye. The conversations become less frequent, the connection weakens, and eventually, someone who was once a big part of your life becomes distant. This kind of loss is painful because it leaves you searching for answers and wondering what went wrong. But not every relationship ends because someone failed. Some people are meant to walk with you through a season, not your entire journey. They serve a purpose, help shape who you are, and then their chapter in your life comes to an end. Even David and Jonathan shared a deep bond, yet their paths eventually separated as David stepped into his calling. If you're grieving a relationship that quietly faded away, remember that its ending doesn't mean it wasn't real. Sometimes God removes people, not because they were bad for you, but because He is preparing you for the next season of your life. What feels like loss may actually be a step toward where you're meant to go. Sign 3. Discomfort in places that used to feel like home. The third sign is the one that messes with your head the most, because it's not about other people at all, it's about you. And the fact that you no longer fit in the spaces that once felt like home. The environment hasn't changed. The people haven't changed. But you walk into a room you've walked into 100 times and something feels off. Not wrong in a dangerous way, just misaligned. Like you're wearing someone else's clothes. Like you're playing a role in a life that was built for a former version of you. You used to love those conversations. Now they feel shallow. You used to feel energized in those spaces. Now you feel drained. The things that used to excite you barely register. And the things that used to satisfy you leave you empty in a way you can't fully explain. And this is disorienting because you look around and everyone else seems fine. Everyone else seems at home in the exact environment that no longer fits you. And you wonder if something is wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You are outgrowing something. And outgrowing is not arrogance. Outgrowing is not you deciding you're better than the room. It is simply your spirit recognizing that it has expanded beyond the container it's currently in. When a tree's roots outgrow a pot, it doesn't mean the pot was bad. It means the tree needs more ground. And if you don't repot it, the roots will start to choke themselves. The discomfort you feel in familiar spaces is your roots telling you, I need more ground than this. Segment 4. Why this hurt is holy. Here's what I want you to understand above everything else today. The pain of separation is not evidence that something went wrong. It is evidence that something is happening. Something real. Something significant. Something that your comfort and your familiarity and your settled, predictable life could not have produced. God does not separate casually. He doesn't create distance for no reason. Every person he moved, every environment he closed off, every friendship that faded, all of it was intentional. All of it was direction. All of it was love, wearing a face that didn't look like love in the moment. Because here's the truth about calling. You cannot step into who you were made to be while surrounded by every reminder of who you used to be. The old version of you has too many witnesses, too many people who knew you before, too many rooms where you are defined by your past instead of your future. Separation creates space, space for identity, space for growth, space for God to speak into you without the noise of everyone else's expectations drowning out his voice. So if you are in this right now, if you are sitting in the loneliness of unexpected isolation, grieving relationships that quietly ended, feeling like a stranger in spaces that used to feel like yours, I want to say this directly to you. You are not falling apart. You are being set apart. There is a difference. And one day, maybe not today, maybe not for a while, you will look back at this exact season and understand every piece of it. The friendships that faded will make sense. The rooms that stopped fitting will make sense. The loneliness that felt like abandonment will reveal itself as preparation. Hold on. Trust the process. And don't go back to what God is moving you away from just because the forward is unfamiliar. The vestibule story is still ahead. Drop in the comments. Which of these 3 signs are you experiencing right now? I genuinely want to know. And if this hit something real in you today, share it with someone who needs it. I'll see you in the next